Hey, what is up everybody? How are you guys doing? Thanks for checking out this video. Support for the channel is definitely awesome. Now I want to talk about something I commented on a video on YouTube. And the person was talking about people are aware of what's going on and kind of what social chaos could come from that and whatnot. And I made a comment saying, I think most people are good. I don't think that it's going to be an all-out divisional war, like a civil war, like a lot of people think. I don't think all of the left are crazy freaking wackos. I don't think all the people on the right are conservative, Christian, good people. But I made that comment and people ripped me apart. Your theory's wrong. Just look at the Holocaust. Just look at this or just look at that. You're wrong. You're wrong. And I'm like, wow, this is dangerous, Just people are upset. And I was saying this because, I love talking to the other side. If I get a chance to talk to somebody that looks like they'd be liberal or Biden-Harris supporter or something like that, I'd like to sit down and just have a quick conversation, just shoot the shit. No real point. Just see what these people are up to. I've lived in many different areas. I've known many different people. I knew a guy that was straight out of Syria. He was a good dude. Now, one of the reasons I said this is when you think about it, let's just take the right, the conservative, the Trump followers, the Trump train, whatever, just the conservative right in this division of society that we have. Okay. Most of the attacks are pointing fingers at the Democrats that are on TikTok, the Democrats, the liberals, the progressives that are on X, the people that are putting themselves out there. Now, let's just say that's 20,000 people that are making asinine videos and making a fool out of themselves online. And those are the ones that not only social media gravitates to, but normal media gravitates to it too. Like the screaming Hillary supporters and stuff like that. And if you're on the right, you are thinking that is the left. That is what people are like when they vote for Democrats or they live in sanctuary cities, or this is the way that people are. And really that's kind of a shame because it's like less than 1% of our country is getting the exposure for being a complete whack job. Yeah, they've probably always been there, just now it's televised in a microsecond onto your phone and social media, instantaneous gratification with everything. So we focus, even though there's so many of these people and so many of these videos that are going to prove a point that you have kind of been programmed to think, there's so many of these people out there that you may never even see the same video twice. And you're just going to think this is everybody across the board is just freaking crazy, I really think that's kind of where we are right now. It's really hard to look at the world as the world without looking at the world through social media or any media. We can't really disconnect that. This post that I put up on YouTube earlier just kind of proved that point, that people even say so-called preppers, so-called survivalists that can't figure out that division that's going on. They can't figure out that, yes, most people are actually good because, yes, most people are actually good people. There are people that I'll sit down and talk with at breakfast, a server or somebody standing in line or something like that. It doesn't matter if they're Republican or a Democrat, just small talk, just talking about whatever. There's people here, because I'm in the Bible Belt, they'll just sit around and shoot the shit about God in church, especially on Sundays. We always go to breakfast on Sundays. But yeah, it really doesn't matter. You go into like a REI sporting goods store or something like that if you wanted to go look at some Well, they don't have guns, but some I don't know. You put yourself as a conservative into a place that is dominantly liberals. You can have a great time. You can make friends. You can have great conversations. It ain't the end of the world just because they live maybe in Portland or Seattle or Chicago or something like that. It does not make them a bad person. It makes it the point that you might not like the way that the government runs the state or the city or the county, but that doesn't mean everybody there is good. I live out here in the Ozarks in the Bible Belt, very, very red area, and we got Democrats here. They're perfectly fine people. They're not out starting shit. They're not being all wacko. These are only the very small percent that is exposed to the masses and pushed by these companies like Facebook and whatnot, because it all just ends up in civil unrest at the end of the day. Political unrest, hate crimes, whatever. For whatever reason that they're doing all these, but we all know people from these companies have said that they push agendas in social media. Supposedly Elon's trying to break that trend, but man, I don't know about that.
Hey, good to see you, man.
Hey, how's it going?
But yeah, and this kind of started me out when I first saw that video. It got me thinking, actually, when I made the post, that there are a lot of people, most people know something ain't right. Most people know, left or right, black, white, atheist, Christian, Jew, Islamic, whatever. Everybody knows there's a storm out there. You cannot not see it. Whether it's economic, whether it's social, whether it's geopolitical, World War III, whatever. Just about everybody I talk to is aware. And it doesn't even have to be a direct statement like that. You can just kind of figure it out. Like, for instance, and this is maybe a little squeezed in tip for the day. We have season tickets to a theme park. We go to the theme park. We enjoy the theme park. Yes, that is a threatening place to be. It is a large group of people. I've said before, stay around or stay away from large groups, but you still have to have fun. But I've been studying the layout of the property, and I came to the conclusion that it is a serious threat issue, that it is a bottleneck getting in and a bottleneck getting out. It's not a turnstile, but let's just basically say 6 turnstiles wide at one point for every single person inside the park or outside of the park to pass through. Very, very, very bad situation to be in. And it almost got to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I'm comfortable going with these higher threat levels that are coming in. This weekend's supposed to be bad. There's a lot of red flags. The FBI is coming out saying, hey, just chill out this weekend. But no, I want to go to a theme park. And I take the chance. I come prepared. I have to go through metal detectors, sheriff's department, stuff like that. So I cannot carry, obviously. I do carry my pocket knife, which is not going to do much in a terrorist situation, but it is something. I do have something in my vehicle if I am able to get to my vehicle, and as of right now it is a sidearm. I've been thinking about taking that to a gun, a long gun, rifle, my AR, or a shotgun, anything. A shotgun could be a very good, useful tool in that situation. But hey, here's the point. It's coming back around to the main point. We were standing in line for a ride, and there was a guy probably in his mid-20s running the traffic control, pointing everybody to the right places to go. And I said, hey, man, I got a question for you that's a little bit out of the ordinary. And this is kind of taboo in the prepper world. But I'm like, hey, I know, and I think you know that things aren't really right in the world right now, and we got a lot of threats going on. He just kind of looks at me like, all right, where are you going, kind of, without saying any words. And I'm like, as far as I know, there is one way in, one way out of this park. Are there any other ways, employee entrances, maintenance, access, or anything like that we might be able to get out the other side of the park. And he's like, you know what? Yes. Right over here, right next to this ride, look for this door to the right side of that. You can get through, and it's an employee entrance. So just to tell you, Silver Dollar City is the park that we go to. If you go to that park, there's a ride called Fire in the Hole. There's an exit right next to Fire in the Hole to the right of the entrance of Fire in the Hole. So there you go. But I'm sitting here talking with him, and my girlfriend's like, yeah, he's a little paranoid in a way. I forget the exact verbiage that she said. Nothing derogatory, but, I'm like, hey, well, whatever. And he's like, no, he's just prepared. And I said, nah, yeah, So people, even somebody working in a ride in a theme park in their mid-20s knows and agrees shit ain't right in the world. Shit can go sideways. And people are out there thinking about this stuff for a way to get out. And he might even have gone later on that day and said, hey, where else could I get out of here, Because he wasn't knocking it. He's just like, yeah, that's just kind of how it is, So yes, I think that people know, just because they're not talking about it, just because they don't have a bunker in their backyard, I think people know there's turbulence in the world right now. And it's not a bad idea to put stuff back. Everybody I talk to, and I talk to a lot of people very lightly about prepping. I got no problem with it. I'm not all hush hush, fight club, can't say a word. I don't care. And I don't care for two reasons. One, if shit hits the fan next week, they ain't going to remember me. They're not going to remember where I live. If they do, they're like at a CIA level, or they've got very big plans they had long before shit hit the fan. When shit hits the fan, your mind is just going to go bonkers in every which direction, and you're going to be in a new world. You're not going to be thinking about what the cashier said 3 weeks ago. Okay. And another thing is, the people I talk to aren't going to be following me home. It's in a situation, they're at work or something like that. If there was ever the chance that somebody's going to follow me home, yeah, I'm probably not going to say nothing. I'm not going to say it in a parking lot as I'm loading my groceries in like, yo, I'm a prepper. You got to use common sense. But I do talk to a lot of people about prepping. And everybody unanimously says, I don't do anything, but that is a good idea. It is a good idea to throw a little extra money back. It is a good idea to throw a little food back, water back. It's a good idea to prepare for anything, whether it's SHTF or just a financial meltdown or losing your job. Everybody says it's a good idea. Now, am I going to call them a bad person because they wanted to vote for Joe Biden? No, I think honestly, most people are good people. Most people, regardless of the division that we've been told to believe, most people have a good head on their shoulders. Most people understand shit that's going on in this world. And that's going to be good because it's going to be better for society. It's going to be better, I think, in an SHTF situation. There's a lot of smart people that are putting a little bit back too. But here's the thing with it is, as soon as there is that point, that news article, the X post, that shit has hit the fan, every one of those people are going to go, it is go time. And that is when the grocery store looting, the craziness, the toilet paper mayhem, that's when all this is going to kick in, and it's going to kick in fast, because I do think there's a lot of people that understand what's going on. And when something happens, it's going to be go time. We got to get some canned food. We got to do it, because they're not preppers, but they know and understand that this is what needs done. So you're going to have that craziness going on. But yeah, I don't think all people are bad people that are on the left. I don't think people are bad because they don't agree with what I believe in, or they don't agree with how I think. That doesn't make them a bad person. I don't care where you are. You can live in Afghanistan under Taliban rule. That doesn't necessarily make you a bad person. You might be a good person just trying to get through every day at work, just like we do, I mean, things aren't really different. I was digging into Iran, going into Iran, and looking at the way people live, and they're just normal freaking people, having a good time, shopping, getting groceries, doing whatever. They're not all freaking raghead Taliban Islamic terrorists. They're just normal people. Most people are good people, but we're trained to think everybody in Afghanistan and Iran are just psychopathic terrorists. It ain't the case. Most people are good people, and I honestly believe that. Hey, if you want to disagree, that's cool. Drop it down. You guys can rip into me again, but I'm going to stand by it. I'm going to stand by enough to make a video about it. So, right on. Thanks for hanging out for this one. I'll leave it with that. Till next time, I'll talk to you then. Peace.